Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
We are going to have a lot of fun today, listeners. My guest is Lisa Cherney, and I've known Lisa for a lot of years, and she is a real hoot. She's been mentoring millionaire entrepreneurs for over 20 years, and she is the host of the groundbreaking confession-based GFR, and I won't tell you what the F stands for, but Get Real podcast, and creator of the 12 GFR commandments. In 2014, I think this just took so much courage, and I really need to ask her about this. After 15 years in business and speaking on over 750 stages, she got real and dismantled her successful 7-figure business as the juicy marketing expert. She learned that just because something is successful and people like it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. She always knew she had a low tolerance for not being happy. After all, she had had a successful corporate career that she left with companies like AT&T and Lipton at age 28, and now she knows her mission is to help soulful entrepreneurs GFR so they can get out of their own way, help more people, and make more money. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Gayle. I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun.
You know, I have to tell you, I just want to know, because I never had a chance to really ask you why you decided to dismantle your business, because I know what a great business it was to go into this.
I dismantled it because I wasn't having fun, Gayle.
I understand that. I don't like to do anything I don't have fun at, so I get it.
Yes, I created this amazing business. It was focused on full-time prosperity, part-time hours.
And what you're doing now as the founder of consciousmarketing.com, you left that to go to GFR and become the Queen of Clarity. So tell us, you know, if this is where you are tending to stay. Is this struggle always part of a mission-based entrepreneur's journey? Tell us a little bit about that.
I absolutely think that it is a consistent challenge for a mission-based entrepreneur to make sure that they are doing what they love. And it sounds so simple because they go into it, or I'll say we go into it because we want to do something that we love. We have a mission, a calling, a purpose. But as we evolve, you know, we wake up, we get more clear, we know more of what we like, what we don't like. The business needs to evolve too. And that doesn't always come easy for entrepreneurs. They feel like, well, I've invested all this time. I have all these clients. I did the branding. I did the photos, you know, like they just feel like the train is going so far down the station that they feel like they can't change it. So I've probably had 4 different significant changes in my business, my focus, my branding, my products in the 20 years that I've been an entrepreneur. And I fully support people that I work with more closely to doing that, so they make sure that they're loving what they do and they're on mission, so they don't have any regrets, which is what we're talking about, right?
Exactly. And I know I know that you love your GFR, your 12 commandments, but you particularly love number 5, which is make yourself your most important client. So tell us about that one.
Well, it's such a great one to point to when we are talking about the journey that I went on to let go of a 7-figure business. I was mentoring mission-based entrepreneurs on creating a business, what I used to call on their terms. And for many of them, we used to call full-time prosperity, part-time hours, but whatever that looked like for them. It's like they didn't want to have this 9 to 5 thing that they felt sort of tied down to. And so that's what I was holding space for. And then about 2 years into this particular business model that I had, where I was doing events, and then I was enrolling people into a year-long program, and I had, coaches and people that were also helping my clients, I realized I needed to make myself my most important client and figure out what I would tell myself, which each of the GFR commandments has a confession question, Gayle. And this is what people ask themselves to see if that commandment is the one that's that's the one that's holding them back, or, conversely going to give them the biggest breakthrough. So the confession question for number 5, which again is make yourself your most important client, is if I was my own client, what would I tell myself? But it doesn't just stop there. It also says, what else would I tell myself? Because, sometimes we just need to dig a little deeper. And so I realized that I would tell myself that I can't go on having a business that really does not feel good to me, that I was, waking up stressed out, not wanting to go to, people will relate to this when I say, stressed out on Sunday because I didn't want to go to work on Monday. And, it's like I'm my own boss, Gayle, and I was sucking at it because I didn't really love what I had created. I love the creation of it, like, to put it super simple, as I love the creation of it. But I didn't love the running of it. Once it was up and running, I didn't like the whole just keep repeating what you're doing. I didn't like that part.
Well, that's one of the reasons why entrepreneurs make the worst CEOs. I mean, if they really build a significant business, they need to have somebody else as a CEO and somebody else as a CFO and somebody else as a COO, because they're great at strategic thinking and new ideas, but they're terrible at running a business. So, but you also talk about commandment number 3, don't worry about being normal, proper, or polite. So that goes against some people's grain. So tell us about that one.
Yeah, well, we love going against people's grain, don't we now, Gayle?
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about that one. So yes, commandment number 3 is don't worry about being normal, proper, or polite. And let me just say a little bit about the GFR commandments. So we know it's about getting real, and, we wanted to make it serious, create urgency, so we added an F in the middle. And the GFR commandments I call them the roadmap for getting real. So this is the 12 ways that I have seen over my 20 years of mentoring mission-driven folks, the folks that are selling and marketing themselves, which makes it way harder. In my 20 years of mentoring them, those particularly that were like going for significant financial goals, like 6 or 7 figures, this is the 12 ways, Gayle, that I would see them getting in their way. Like I sat down one day and I was like journaling and I was taking notes and I was highlighting and I was like, poof, oh my gosh, there's these 12 things, and what am I going to, what are they called? And then they became the GFR commandments, and then I added the confession questions. So just wanted to give a bigger context to those. And so I love number 3, which is don't worry about being normal, proper, or polite. And of course, the thing that most commonly people say is, but Lisa, I don't want to be rude. and that just illuminates where we can get in our own way when it comes to speaking our truth, which is the confession question is, where am I not speaking my truth? And that is in our personal life, right? We're so worried about being polite and proper that we don't tell people if they're, pushing our boundaries and we're uncomfortable. And when it comes to our marketing, Gayle, we don't speak our truth in our marketing. And so then we're really not attracting like the clients we want, and we're not feeling authentic about our message. And consequently for me, especially, it does not feel fun for me when I don't feel like, the true me is coming through. And of course, what's great about that is that when you do cut through some of your inner game around worrying about what people think, which is the biggest thing that people come up against, is that, and you do share what I call your soapbox, right? You just get on it and you just like shout it from the rooftops. The people that you're supposed to help, they just come to you in droves because they're so happy that you're finally saying the things that they need to hear.
Well, this is so true. And I think that probably a lot of people don't say the truth because they're trying to conform. I mean, haven't you found that, I may start out one way, I may start out wanting to create a particular kind of entity, and I may want to attract a certain kind of client. But when I'm building a business, I'm often desperate. So I kind of kowtow to what the industry says is right, or that kind of thing. And I think that that's a big deal when it comes to, how our thought process is. So what do you think it sounds like when a business owner is making this kind of mistake?
I think that they are saying that they are not wanting to offend anybody or turn anybody off. That's what they say to themselves in their head.
Well, that is true. They don't want to. But how do you stand up for your beliefs? How do you stand up for what you want and not insult other people and still have a growing business?
Well, I think the key is not to worry. So we're not talking about like day to day, like going into a restaurant and like insulting, like the person who brings you your
Right.
food, or
Right.
or neighbor, or right. This is like, so we're so guarded and mindful, appropriately in our everyday life. Maybe sometimes even to our detriment, right? Especially ladies, we know when we do that, we're like people pleasing, and we're bending what we want to help other people, our kids, our spouses, the like PTA mom, whatever it is, right? But in our business, especially when we are mission driven, let's just talk about that for a second. So mission driven means that I have something bubbling up inside me. Like, I know you're like this, Gayle. You're so purpose driven. It's like it gives you your spunk, right?
Right.
That, right? We have something bubble up inside us in a way that we just like we must help people in this certain way. And oftentimes when we're mission driven, it's because we experienced something in our lives that inspired us to like, okay, oh my gosh, I don't want any kid to go through what my kid went through. And I discovered how to help my kid. I need to help other kids. Or, I don't want anyone to go through what I went through with my corporate career. And so I must help other women not suffer this way. Right. So we have these wonderful missions. And then we do get in our head about wanting to please everybody or appeal to everybody. And, from my conscious marketing background, I will tell you that is the exact opposite way to attract your ideal clients is by watering down your message, making it appeal to everyone. And then interestingly enough, it actually doesn't appeal to anyone when it's so wide and so all encompassing and wanting just to, be for everyone. It's like nobody really gets like exactly what you're saying. Nobody can really grasp onto it. So that's where I say if you could set aside the preoccupation with not offending anyone, and this is such a great little test to see if you're not speaking your truth in your marketing, is you ask yourself, okay, if I wasn't worried about offending anyone, what would I really say?
Yeah,
And it's
isn't that
illuminating.
interesting? Yeah, yeah. So you call yourself the Queen of Clarity. So what does that mean to you, and why do you call yourself that?
What it means to me is that I am above all supporting people in them knowing what their truth is and what their next steps are in pursuing their mission. And what I love about my latest, version of myself and my mission, my movement, this GFR thing, is that it's really all about that, Gayle. It is just, people have come to me for years and years and years for marketing and for how to sell and for how to leverage and all these awesome things. And what I noticed over and over again was that they weren't doing the things that they knew to do. They weren't following the systems, the blueprints, the steps, the formulas, all the stuff that they had invested in and that they knew they quote unquote should do. They weren't necessarily doing it. Something was getting in their way. And when I would dig in, they would say, I know, it's me. I'm the number one thing getting in my way. And so Queen of Clarity is a declaration for taking a stand that the people that I encounter that hear my voice, that listen to my, GFR podcast, in some way get the clouds part and the clarity comes and they know what they really need to do.
So the clients that you're working with now, Lisa, how you are working with them different than what you did before? Because I know sometimes it's hard. In fact, I did an interview today, and the gal was a model coach, and very few people know that my first 21 years was the owner of the largest modeling school and talent agency in the state of Florida. Because I don't talk about it because it's a whole other part of my life, and it's not where I am today. And yet I can see there are certain times that I may slip back into doing things a certain way. So I'm just curious, the differentiation there.
So the question was, how do I support people differently now than I used to?
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that the biggest habit that I have broken is thinking that the problem that the person is presenting me with can be solved with a marketing strategy or a sales tweak.
Huh. Okay. So how?
Right?
Yeah, I can see that, because that kind of is what marketing people do. That's right.
Right. Well, and it's what a lot of entrepreneurs think the problem is, and of course there's a lot in their email inbox to tell them that is the problem. Like if you just if you just said it differently, did it differently, use this Facebook strategy, did this thing in your sales enrollment conversations, then you would make the big money, sell the high ticket, and have the business of your dreams.
And I have to say, Lisa, in some cases that is true, because there are a lot of people who are doing that, who are doing it very well and making a lot of money.
There's a lot of people that appear to be doing it very well and appear to be making a lot of money. Yes, I agree. That is what it appears to be what appears to be happening.
But now we're going to get the real skinny from Lisa, right?
GFR, y'all, right? I mean, come on now. I mean, and the thing is, we know this. We know that not everybody appears to be right. This is our social media smart culture now. We know that what we see is a curated story. And, like me, I had a 7-figure business. I made $1 million. Yay, got the t-shirt. Aren't I awesome? Meanwhile, I only made $300,000 that year, which freaking nobody talks about is what is your profit. Everybody talks about their top line revenue. And meanwhile, they're paying, a ton of money to get those clients. And they're not really accounting for that in the things that they love to boast about. So I love to boast about my profitability. So this year I have a goal that's about the same in profit, but I don't have to do all that work. My business is about simplification. Of course, to me, that's totally the cornerstone of clarity is keeping things simple. What is the biggest bang for your effort buck that you can get to do what you love? So yes, you have me on my soapbox now, Gayle.
No, but that's what I want. That's what our listeners want. So what makes the difference? In other words, how do you create this marvelous business, any business, not just yours, but how do you create this business without doing all this other quote unquote stuff?
So I think you're going to love this. So something I've been talking about lately is a concept called unmentoring. So here, you're going to love this. So here's an example. So when you're in a mentor phase of your business, you want somebody that's going to tell you what to do, right? That has the experience that you have, and you want to just follow their systems, follow their blueprints. And that works for a lot of people for a long time, especially if they are super, super new to business, right? Like you said, they, that's not really their forte. They have some, they're a healer, or a trainer or a coach, and they haven't run their own business. So that's great. And that was me about 18 years ago. Was I needed the systems. I needed somebody to tell me what to do. That is the mentoring phase. I'm finding that a lot of folks that are in my GFR world now are in the unmentoring phase of things. So this is where you want to trust yourself more to make business decisions and a partner to help you learn what feels right for you. You want to know what of the systems and the things that you've invested in, you want to know which are the ones that are right for you, right? Like, what do you want to take and what do you want to leave that really suits you? So it's a whole different way of being in the entrepreneur journey when you're in that unmentoring phase. And I'm finding that there are a lot of people that I'm talking to, they're like so excited to hear conversation around unmentoring because like here's another one. You're going to like this, Gayle. So, and when you're in that mentor phase, you know that the number one thing standing in your way is a missing skill. Like if I could just be a better marketer, if I could just be better at selling, if I could just be better at speaking, I know that everything would open up for me. And I remember when that was me. In 2009, I made investments in learning how to speak because I knew that was how I was going to grow my business. If you're in that unmentoring phase, you know the number one thing standing in your way is you. And that's where you got to figure out, where am I holding my mission hostage? Where is my inner game? My mindset, and this is all in the GFR commandments, what are the things that I'm not confronting that's actually keeping my business stuck? And unfortunately, if you are really being called to unmentor, right, and just really kind of come home to yourself and you're relying on mentoring, it's actually covering up some of these things. It's covering up your worrying about being normal, proper, and polite, and it's covering up the fact that you're not making yourself your most important client, for example, to use the commandments.
Wow. Of course, there are certain things I still like to be mentored on, mostly technical things. If somebody doesn't tell me, do this, press that, it's never going to happen technology wise. But otherwise, yeah, I understand totally and completely. So let's say this, because we keep talking about these commandments. That's your gift to our listeners. You would like to gift them with the 12 GFR commandments. So first of all, where should they go to get those?
To get your own full color, yummy, delicious, confronting copy of the GFR commandments, go to gfr.life/12C. So 1, 2, and the letter C for commandments. gfr.life/12C. And you'll get your awesome infographic. Everyone that sees it wants to print it out so you can just sort of have it in front of your face and be getting real with yourself.
Fantastic. That's great. And tell them how they can work with you, Lisa. Where can they find you and how can they work with you?
Well, the easiest place to find me is on my podcast, which is the GFR show, or the Get Effin' Real show with Lisa Cherney. And I'm on all the places, Apple Podcasts, all that. And what's fun about the podcast is that it really highlights the struggle journey of the mission-driven entrepreneur. So these are stories of people that have basically been through hell and back. And it led to, like, that experience that they had led to them birthing their business. Like, it was relevant to them birthing their experience, except they didn't, their business, except they didn't really know it at the time. So there's some amazing stories of people, that have, been through, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. One gal wound up in jail and was like, what is this about? Another one was paralyzed from the neck down. I mean, they're amazing stories.
Well, certainly people who are listening to this are wondering, do you ever get pushback on any of this?
Of course. Yes, of course I do. Yes. And so I believe that, yeah,
how do you answer them? Yeah.
Well, when you're not worrying about being normal, proper, and polite, you're going to have people that love you or like super fans and people that don't love you. And I think that's when you're doing something right. When you actually polarize an audience and you really magnetize the people that are just loving what you're saying, it's like a breath of fresh air to them. And in order to hold that space for the people that you're supposed to attract, there's going to be people that are turned off. So of course there's people that don't like the F word, that's kind of an obvious one. And I'm actually enjoying having conversations, particularly on podcasts, where the host is worried about the language for their audience. And it's a really fun conversation because it's a word, and we think about why is that word offensive, and what does that word mean to us, and kind of the positives of that word, and how when people start using that word, it's feeling liberating. And it's, so to me, it's just all part of it. But I got pushback from colleagues when I first started talking about it, and they're like, I don't think you should do that. And I think it looks like you're just trying to get attention. And it did cause me pause. And what it ultimately did was make me even more solidified in my knowing that this is me. And that's really the most important thing, is it feels like it's me. It feels fun. I feel like I am getting to talk with the people that I most want to talk to. And just to really make sure, I created a community. So this is another way to hang out with me, called the GFR Squad. And it's people that just, get the commandments and like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, I want to learn. I want to do this. Like, I want to get real, and I want to be in community with people that are letting their hair down and not editing themselves and like making big changes in their world. So I have this really easy entry, just put a little skin in the game community called the GFR Squad, and you can go to gfr.life/squad.
Well, there you have it, folks. You can go to GFR Life/12C, get your 12 commandments. You can go to her website, GFR.life, or you can go to grr.life and /squad. Lisa, it has been a pleasure and a hoot and a delight to have you as a guest today. And thank you so much for being with us.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.